What's up guys? In this one, I'm going to be speaking to my client Laurie, who's had insane results inside my program. We scaled him from 3K a month to 15K a month with his consultancy in just 3 weeks of working together. I'm excited for you to hear exactly how he did it. And without further ado, let's just get straight into the video. I'm here today with Laurie, who's one of my clients. We've worked together for around, I believe it's been like 45 days now or so, 2 months at least. Laurie, really glad to have you here, man. Do you mind sharing a bit about you, what things were like before working with me?
So my background's in startups, and through that got a lot of exposure to like the venture capital industry. So those are investment funds that invest specifically in early stage companies. Through kind of being part of that ecosystem was writing like content for myself or for newsletters for friends or other publications in that kind of industry. And a lot of that was kind of as like freelance writing basically. Through that saw this need for venture capital firms to start branding themselves like companies because they were increasingly in this kind of competitive market where they need to look impressive and produce content. And there were funds that were kind of struggling to do that. So we started this service that would go in and help firms create content, newsletters, blogs, and that sort of thing.
So you had this business model in the beginning. You were kind of like operating as more from like a freelancer position. And now it sounds like you've kind of positioned yourself as more like a premium option, more of a consultant that can, charge high ticket and actually be in demand. Rather than it being the other way around and being like a commoditized freelancer where, you're kind of fighting for business and now it's kind of the other way around. So it's really cool to see how you've progressed. So I'm pretty sure it's been like 40 days or so. It hasn't been that long. In fact, I think it was like 3 weeks or so that we first started getting your first big win. What have you achieved so far?
Yeah, so in the kind of, I guess, coming in with Kai and then like looking at changing the positioning round and starting to kind of pitch it as an agency and as a consultancy. So we closed 2 deals. So one of them was a 9K 3-month deal, and then another one was a 6K 3-month deal with retainers on the back end of that, hopefully kind of when you come in and set up a...
That's fucking huge. Like 15K in 3 weeks. That's a lot of money people only dream of. And this is only just the beginning for you. So I'm very, very excited to see how you progress. Just scroll back like a couple of years or just when you started your business actually. So in the past, if you didn't work with us, where do you think you'd be right now?
I think it would be like the same sort of freelancer mindset around like just looking for more work all the time rather than going and looking for problems to solve. If I didn't have this kind of mindset shift or didn't have this like new kind of way of thinking about it, approaching it and like systematizing client acquisition, I'd still be in this process of, I guess, kind of like floating and waiting to see opportunities rather than going out and kind of grabbing them or knowing how to go.
Yeah, that's great, man. Like, I'm really glad that you've seen that mindset shift and you're no longer operating from like a scarcity freelancer mindset. And now you're just operating from like a fucking base consultant mindset. It's great. Have you seen any improvements in your life and just business overall?
I think like I feel a lot more like enabled to go and like do it again and scale it and things like that. And I think
Awesome.
that kind of gives you a lot more confidence in yourself. So I think if you come from a 9 to 5 background or whatever, you can kind of be like, well, what the heck am I supposed to do? Like, how do I know? I think if you can prove out this logic of like, oh, okay, list out the problems to solve in an industry. This is how I'd go and solve them. This is how I go and tell, 100, 1,000, 10,000 people I'm going to solve them. You know that at the end of the day, it just comes down to maths of how compelling can you make or how desperate are they to solve that problem and then go and solve it. And that kind of gives you this platform to go and do that yourself, which is definitely super enabling. I think like it's cool to have tools now, like tools I already had before, but knowing actually how to use them, I think is a good way to put it.
So what really made you pull the trigger to work with me?
As I was kind of starting to understand that I needed to move in that direction, personally move from A to B, the reality is you could probably get there on your own, but what you get with kind of investing in that is not only like the level of accountability, but also this kind of permanent brainstorm, this permanent like, oh, okay, well, I've seen this person do this in this industry, which applies to you here. And this enables you to kind of go deeper and to see like someone actually come in with this external perspective, and there are things that you think are really obvious that I wouldn't have thought of. And it sounds silly, but even stuff like if we're going to send out this proposal document, actually, this is a better way of sending out the document. You probably could put that on your own, but you kind of get this rapid fire like audit of where you're at and where you want to be, which is worth it.
What would you say to like a similar person or, similar agency owner, freelancer, creator, coach, consultant who was maybe on the fence about working with a coach or a consultant to help them scale? What would you say to them if they were looking for a solution like this, and how likely would you be to recommend me?
I definitely recommend you for people who are like specifically in this like agency space, and and operate out of like a cold closed model, what I would say to them is your time and the external critique that you get, like even if you don't end up achieving those things, you still get so much value out of that. And like the relative time, the relative cost of that across the course of a year, 2 years, 3 years, if you're going to be playing the game, is so small that, go prove it, go find out for yourself. And it might just be that you come and you take 3 of these nuggets away, and then over time they merge into your own thing. But actually it kind of comes from this foundation that you can set with someone externally coming in and going, hey, from my perspective, I don't care. I have no emotional attachment to your thing. I have no care about this industry. This just doesn't look good. This doesn't sound good. Or this is what the client thinks when they see this.
But yeah, I think we're almost up here, man. But it's been an absolute pleasure to catch up with you and go through this. And it's obviously been a complete honor working with you as well in your company. If you want to shout out your company, your Twitter handle and your website.
Yeah, refinerymedia.co.uk.
Absolute pleasure, bro. I'll catch you on the next one. Such a good guy, got incredible results, worked very, very hard to achieve what he did. So if you have a similar offer, you're an agency, you're a consultant, coach, you run a B2B business, you have a real transformation to offer to the market, and you're at or above 7K per month, then click the link in the description at the bottom of this video, book yourself in a call, look at the testimonials, look at the case studies, and see what's possible for you. I'm sure we can make it work. See you in the next one. Cheers.